Hi, everyone. I'm Victor Fernandez, and I'm here today to share with you where a truly successful fitness journey begins. But before I get into that, let me show you where it doesn't. For starters, right here. Nope, doesn't begin in here either. It truly begins right here, right between the ears. Let me tell you why. I'm sure you've all heard the phrase, life is hard. And it is, it truly is. But there's one main reason why it's hard. We as human beings make it hard. We really make it harder than it already is. Let's be honest with ourselves. Think about all those molehills that we turned into mountains, especially in our adult years. Think about all those issues and troubles and difficulties that we needed to deal with, but instead we blew them completely out of proportion instead of attempting to resolve them. Now think about all those times that we could have just taken a step back and thought to ourselves, all right, there has to be an easier, more manageable, more effective solution. I'd like to think more often than not, but I'd probably be lying, to be honest with you. And I'm talking from firsthand experience. That applies to the health and fitness game as well. Think about all those times over the years that we've tried and failed to get healthy, to get fit, to eat right, to change our diet. I don't have to think that far back to remember what that was like. And think about all the times we got disappointed in ourselves, frustrated with ourselves, upset with ourselves because we didn't get the results that we envisioned in our minds. And think about why that is. I know for myself exactly why that is, because I would go into every situation, every time I tried to get fit and healthy, I would try to, I was fully convinced in my own head that it had to be hard for it to work, and I would go into it guns a-blazing, with my hair on fire, at least when I had hair back in those days, because I wanted it and I wanted it right now. And what would happen? I'd get too drastic with my workout plans. I'd get too extreme with my eating habits, and I'd last a few weeks, maybe a month or two, and then I'd fail. The old hamster on the wheel, continuing to go round and round, but really not getting anywhere. So we have to stop and think about what we're truly trying to accomplish here. We're trying to change, in many instances, many years of bad habits, bad choices, bad decisions, just a lot of bad things that piled on top of one another. You've heard me say it many times before, you didn't gain all that weight or you didn't become unhealthy overnight. So you're not going to reverse the process overnight either. So you have to simplify things. But in order to do that, you have to buy into that. It all sounds great. It all sounds great. All those ideas and thoughts and plans we have in our head as to how we're going to get healthy and fit. But until we truly believe in them, they're just words. They're just words. So it has to start with that first step before you hit the gym and start lifting weights, before you get in the kitchen and start meal prepping. You have to sit back and think, all right, number one, why am I doing this? And don't just say just to lose weight or to feel healthy, because anybody can say that. And the beauty of this is that we as human beings, we're all individuals. We're all unique in our own ways, which means why we're doing this, the answer to that question is going to be unique in its own way as well. So it isn't as simple as losing weight and getting healthy or building muscle. For me, it was to change up here how I was to the outside world, how I was to my family, how I dealt with my job, how I dealt with my life as a whole, because I wasn't the easiest individual to deal with when I was disappointed in myself, the way I looked, the way I felt. And I'm sure you all can attest to that as well in your own lives. you wouldn't be watching this video right now if you weren't looking for a way to change things for the better and for the rest of your life. So first you have to decide why you're doing this. And it has to be specifically to you, not to anybody else. Secondly, you have to figure out a way that's going to make it happen. And that begins with taking that first step. It begins with building one positive habit, making one healthy choice. And it sounds so trivial, doesn't it? One good habit, one healthy choice out of all the things that we need to do to get to where we want to be. But it's got to begin there. It's got to begin somewhere. You can't get it all back. You can't get it all back at once. So you have to begin with that first step, the first habit, the first choice. Then the next day, again, and the next day, again, and the next day, again. You get where I'm getting at here, don't you? And I know it doesn't sound sexy. I know it doesn't sound trendy. It's probably not going to break the internet, what I'm saying right now. It's not going to be the #1 social media trend in the world, because I'm not saying anything that's really extreme or in your face. It's been there all along. It's been there all along what you need to do to get done. And then you'll be surprised. They start building on one another, those healthy choices, those positive habits. Over time, you won't realize it at first, but over time, you're going to get to a point like it just becomes instinctive. You don't even have to think about it. You get out of your own head because it's just happening. It's become a part of your life, just like anything else. Eating right, hitting the gym, making healthy choices, developing healthy habits. It all becomes instinctive. And what happens then? We get out of our own heads. We get out of our own way. And all of a sudden, it all comes together. It all comes together. But it has to begin here, because without this, the rest of it doesn't matter. Let's face it. I know we call it physical fitness, but it's so much more mental and emotional than it is physical. Because without the first two, you're not getting the last one, and you're not getting the results that you want. Think about that. Look, I get it. It's scary to think about what it will take to get mentally and emotionally prepared to begin transforming your life. Ultimately, the goal is to be at your best for your family, friends, coworkers, really everyone and everything in your life. But how can you be at your best in life if you're not at your best personally? And that seems like a daunting task, I know, but I assure you, you're not alone. It wasn't that long ago when someone guided me along my own personal path to better health and fitness. And that person was there every step of the way. I can't tell you how comfortable and confident that made me feel to know someone took to heart my goals and needs as much as I did. That's what I want to do for you. That's how I want you to feel. And that begins with the first step, claiming your spot in my comprehensive 3-month and 6-month fitness programs, which feature custom designed training and nutritional plans, as well as the mindset coaching and accountability you need to conquer the challenges that have stood in your way for far too long so you can ultimately reach your goals. I'm going to drop a link below so you can schedule your free one-on-one call with me so we can begin forging the path to the best version of you. In the meantime, drop me a line in the comments section so you can let me know what your fitness goals are and what's kept you from reaching them so we can start putting those obstacles behind you for good. Until then, have a great week, everyone. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.